Alright guys, welcome to another Diablo 4 video. Today we're talking about Druid, and one of its most interesting builds that I find today. This build is all about pulverize. This ability right here deals massive damage, but one of the best things is that every 10 seconds it overpowers, which means that you can do incredible damage to all enemies around them. Basically, you can one-shot them. On top of everything, if they don't die for some reason, you're going to decrease the damage that you take for 20 seconds. In a nutshell, this build is you are almost immortal, you cannot die, and you deal massive damage. The drawback of this build is that you hit slow. You're not really, if you expect somebody just to throw in, deal massive damage with very swift strikes, this is not the build for you. This build is slow, unfortunately. So in a way, you have to stay over 80% health, you have to cover yourself with shields, and every 10 seconds you unleash incredible damage. Of course, if Overpower is not ready on a pulverize, you still deal massive damage. However, once it is ready, you can one-shot almost everything in the game. Now, without any further ado, let me quickly browse the entire skill tree. I have Claw. The reason why I'm using Claw because it is increasing my attack speed, and the reason why I need attack speed is because basic skill generates 30% more spirit. I require that because Claw is a basic skill, so I'm going to hit enemies faster and I'm going to generate power faster. Also, I have Heart of the Wild, but that's not really important. The reason why I have this unlocked is because I need abundance. Here I have Predatory Instinct. I'm increasing the critical hit chance against close enemies by 9%. I'm fighting mainly close enemies, so that's important. I have Bulwark. The reason why I require this barrier is simple, because for one thing, it further fortifies me. Look at this, casting grants 18% life, 80% base life basically as fortify. So I require that because remember, you know, for this pulverize to work, I need to be over a certain percentage of health, right? If I drop below this percentage of health, I cannot really do the overpower effect. So I need to be fortified, so I require barriers. We are going to get, by the way, to the legendary items a little bit later. I just want to first cover the skill tree. So we require this. Level 1 is enough. Also, you require debilitating roll. That's very important because again, it fortifies you and on top of everything, it heals you. And I need the blood hole for certain reasons. The first thing is that it heals you. Once again, you need to stay healthy in order for overpower effect to be triggered. It has very short cooldown because you're killing monsters all the time. So I reckon on average it has 3 or 4 seconds cooldown, and it generates spirit every time when you cast it. So you require spirit in order to spam pulverize. We already established that debilitating row is really important because it fortifies you, this skill heals you, and also generates some spirit so that you can spam pulverize. Here you don't require anything, at least I am not using anything. If you want, you can use something, but I don't even have room for this. And another skill that's important that I'm using often is the Grizzly Rage. The beautiful thing about this ultimate is that it actually lasts long. It can last up to 20 seconds. That's beautiful. On top of everything, look at this. You become unstoppable once you activate your ultimate, and you gain 8% base life as 45 per second while Grizzly Rage is active. So you gain additional 45. The only thing that I have to advise you about the ultimate is that you're basically fighting slow, because once you, let me show you. Once you activate your ultimate, you're fighting with Maul, and Maul is really slow skill. So make sure that you have your spirit almost full before you activate the Grizzly Bear. It's going to be better for you because you will be able to spam more pulverize, because otherwise if you start from scratch and start building your spirit, you lose a lot of time. Now let's take a look at my items. I don't really have incredible useful items here. I have 14% damage reduction while shapeshifted into werewolf. I have the blood hole, so basically this is some additional tankiness that I gain here. Skill grants 25% damage reduction for 4.5 seconds, additional tankiness. Here, if I become injured, I become unstoppable, so additional way to survive. And here your core skills deal up to 22% increased damage based on your amount of fortify. Pretty cool because pulverize is a core skill. Here I have damage in elite grants your barrier. We all know this, so that's additional tankiness. Very useful. So that once again you stay healthy. Attacking enemies with basics to increase the damage your next core skill does by 10% up to 50%, as you can see here. Right. now, and skills deal 45% more critical damage to crowd control enemies. This is not really that useful, but since I don't have anything, I'm using it. So basically, this is the build. I'm going to quickly showcase how it works, so you have an idea what to expect. Alright, so how do you fight with this build? It is simple. First thing, you need to make sure that you have 10 stacks of your pulverize. Even if you don't, it's not a big deal, you can still fight, but it's not going to be, let's go it that way, that incredibly destructive. As you can see, I one-shot at everybody. Once you don't have 10 stacks, you can still use pulverize. However, it's not going to be that destructive, let's go it that way. And another thing that you have to keep in mind is that basically, if you're fighting bosses, you can always try to activate the Big Mama Grizzly, because you'll be fortified almost always, and it actually lasts for 20 seconds. It is slow again, but it lasts for a really long time. Now the Grizzly expired, so I can keep on hitting the boss. Oh my god, that was pretty bad. Still, this build is not incredibly good against bosses. It can do the job, but it's not perfect. Once again, the biggest drawback of this build is that it's not really extremely fast, let's call it that way, but everything else is incredible. You have very good survivability. Basically, you cannot die. I believe I didn't die a single time using this build, both when it comes to fighting bosses and when it comes to fighting regular mobs. It is simply very difficult to die. I don't want to say impossible, but very difficult. And it is fun. It is fun, not going to lie. It is fun because the damage is very strong, very high. And it is actually true that it happens once every 10 seconds, the beautiful damage, but I mean, even if the 10 stack isn't ready, you still have the survivability, you still can do massive damage. It's not really that high, but it's still something, right? So yeah, basically this is what I wanted to showcase. Once again, remember, if you want to activate the Grizzly Rage, the Big Mama Bear, make sure that you have a lot of fortitude. Make sure that you have a lot of spirit, because, look at the damage, because she actually hits with the bear basic attack, and it is very slow. So make sure once again that you have something prepared when it comes to spirit. Alright guys, so this is going to be all for me today. See you next time. Take care.